I have to be honest.
What is it, Dagon?
I don't think I'm a very good Mormon.
Well, of course you're a good Mormon. In fact, you're one of the best Mormons I know. You love ginger ale, you're patient and kind. You're the best singer in the choir. Oh, you do have the voice of an angel. You even taught the children at the Mormon Child Care Center how to fish when they went camping last weekend. Now they'll know for life.
I don't think going door to door is working out. I mean, I don't mind doing it, but people just shut the door in my face and call the police on me. I don't think people like me are supposed to be out in the Utah desert.
Oh, I know. I understand it can be hard. People can be judgmental, and it's not good. Like when I first cut my hair all the way down to shoulder length. I got dirty looks for weeks in Temple, but eventually they came to understand that I hadn't loosened my morals. I just got tired of spending an hour in the shower. Oh, shower of devilish temptations.
Oh, no. The Mormons accept me for who I am. They've actually been very nice to me, like really nice. I just worry I'm making the church look bad. What with all the police reports and everything. I know the police don't like me, but all they can do is tell me to leave repeatedly. And they had to, arrest the guy that shot me, and they didn't like that.
Someone shot you?
Yeah, it's no big deal.
Yes, it is. Are you okay?
Oh yeah. I'm fine. I mean, it hurt to breathe a bit. I had to take a nap on the park bench afterwards, but I'm fine now.
When did this happen?
Like an hour or two ago. It was daylight out, and I took a nap when the sun was starting to set, and when I woke up, it was gone.
So, what happened?
Oh, a guy called me a fish devil and pulled a gun on me. He shot me in the chest, and he kept doing it until he ran out of bullets, and then he reloaded the gun and did it some more. I told him it wasn't cool and that he should really stop, but he was really insistent on shooting me. But, I get it. Religion and politics get heated. I just thought it'd be cool to talk about Mormonism with him, you know?
So, are you bulletproof?
No. The cops came when the person's neighbor called the police. The bullets went through me and wrecked the neighbor's garden. I'd be mad too. It was a neat looking garden. Like they put a lot of work into it. I still don't get why you'd make a garden and not have food come out of it though. Well, you know.
Well, I guess we can't have you doing missionary work if it means you'll be getting shot at. But that doesn't make you any less of a Mormon. May the God who gives endurance and encouragement give you the same attitude of mind towards each other that Christ Jesus had, so that with one mind and one voice you may glorify the God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ. Accept one another, then, just as Christ accepted you, in order to bring praise to God. Romans 15:5.
Whoa. Thank you, Rose. You're so nice to me.
So, did you get anyone to talk to you this past weekend since you've started?
Yeah, some.
Wait, how many?
I don't know.
No, seriously, how many?
10-ish?
10? 10? That's more than most people get in months of missionary work. That's gotta be some kind of a record.
Oh. Hey, cool.
I knew you were a great Mormon.
Welcome to the Fearfic Podcast. Fearfic is the term for short horror fiction, mostly posted on the web. It includes any and all related subgenres. Join three assholes talking basement goo Slimebeast, inebriated interstellar traveler Abysmii, and irritable ghostly man-horde Dead Palette, as they read all stories horror and internet-related, paragraph by paragraph, and bullshit while they do it. From adolescent revenge fantasies to subtle postmodern narratives about real-life events and everything in between, they read it and critique. You better believe it. Kick it to the cold open, white boy.
I saw a woman jogging with a shirt that says "Run Local," and I'm like, bitch, how do you not run local? The fuck are you talking about?
What the shit?
There's a lot of things, a lot of positive messages you could say with that. Shop local. Be a part of your local community. No, run local.
Exist local.
I'm sick of these fucking yuppies driving their SUVs, 3 counties over and running around my neighborhood just because, the fucking tulips are in bloom. It disgusts me.
Mm-hmm. Where, do people
I
not
love
run
how
locally?
You're fucking speechless. You're like, that's so stupid. I can't deal with it.
Do people not run locally? I know that there are people who go to like hiking trails to jog and shit like that.
Yeah.
Go down to the beach to jog.
Are factually located wherever you are at all times.
I cannot imagine, unless it's to go hiking, or it's part of like a marathon that you've trained for, or it's on a treadmill at a gym. Do you drive to a different neighborhood, park, and run there?
Even then, you're still there, but you outsource your running, I guess.
It sounds like a anti-pollution thing. That's the most I can grasp at, but even then, I'm not entirely sure.
I have this guy in India named Bot who does all my running for me. I outsource it. It's like, what? How does that work? How is it not local?
Here's the issue. She was a dumb thought who was fucking wearing a thing because it said local, and doing things local is cool and trendy.
So
Wait a minute.
Uh-oh.
I found it. Okay. Run local is fuck off. Just go to hell. Go to your grave. Connection is not private. I'll just read the Google blurb. Run Local is a non-profit charity fund created to provide immediate relief to local independent running stores across America.
Running stores.
Okay.
So mom and pop athleticism stores.
Well,
That's what it is.
Ethel and I, back in our day, we was big on jogging, and so we decided to open this here running store. Used to be a bait shop. But now,
All the
instead
fish
of
are
worms,
dead, so we can't do that anymore.
Yeah. Instead of worms, we sell Fitbits. What? How do you? Okay, whatever. Local
Get a
running
fit bitch
shops.
for your fit bitch.
Oh, damn. So we kind of glazed over the important thing here, which is Brandon was in the bushes peering at a woman jogging, saw her
True.
t-shirt, and said, fuck it, never mind, she's a thought. Waited for the next one. Yeah.
I have this image of Brandon, just emerging from the bushes really fast, going, oh, you know what, lady? Fuck you. I'm not even going to fap to this. Walking away.
So that's his MO. He just, he leaps out of bushes at women to critique their dress choices, their style choices.
No, I'm just in the bushes with a sniper rifle loaded with beanbags.
Okay.
And,
I thought you were jumping out and you're like, really? 5 scrunchies? What do you need those for? They're not an accessory. They're just to wear in your hair. Come on.
Nail polish, huh? You just got that, then you're going to go running? That's not a stupid waste of money.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, the stupid waste of money is a shirt that says run local or paying for a place to run.
Oof.
Like maybe if you live in Singapore and you're living in like a 50-story high-rise apartment building, sure. But you're in America. There's space.
Wait a
You
minute.
can run.
Did you say that this is a charity to support stores?
Yeah.
But don't a charity to
just
support businesses?
Why wouldn't you just run? If you want to support your local running store, buy a shirt with your local running store on it, and then do that.
Run in,
no one
buy
knows
something.
what Run Local is off the top of their head.
No. What if you have the shirt on that says run local, but you're in a different town, and you want to advise to them that they should run locally at their local run shop?
Right.
What is a run shop?
It's like it's a small place that probably sells like running shoes and like gym shorts and stuff. I've seen them before. They're around here.
Yeah, I've also been to a Foot Locker. A Payless?
Ethel and I started a Foot Locker some years ago.
It's like I don't know, man. Like support what you want with your fucking money, but that's not the thing that I would. That's not how I would go about supporting a fucking running store.
Plus,
doesn't make any sense.
I wouldn't support a running store.
That's because you don't run.
Why doesn't
I don't.
I have a question. Why doesn't the T-shirt say support local running stores?
Because
why does it just say run local?
Because you can't put that in a fucking hashtag. I don't know. I don't know who's behind the marketing on that, but you failed hard.
If you just put shop local, that'll trickle down to the running stores.
Yeah, no, like that's 100 times more effective, and not just for running stores, but for everything. Why?
Oh god, this is fucked up.
That's not how you run a 501(c) marketing campaign. Jesus.
DP, why did you have to drop the worst horror story of all on us in the cold open?
This happened to me Monday. We are recording on a Friday. I've been thinking about it all week, and it's legitimately been distracting me.
It's been keeping me up. What the fuck did that thought shirt mean?
Maybe
one might even say it's been running through my head.
Hey.
What? Okay, how sure are we that she supports the cause and isn't just poverty-stricken and found the shirt in a bargain bin?
She was pretty toned. Like, I'm not gonna lie.
Maybe that's from fighting over radishes and shit.
Radishes?
Yeah. Whatever makes us seem like a dystopian communist society. I don't know. She was trying to fight over radish slices for her stale government bread, you know? Make a nice sandwich.
A radish sandwich.
This is my homie Radish Bites, my cyberpunk character.
DP, what would you do if you're hiding in the bushes and a thought goes running by with a t-shirt, and on your t-shirt it says radish sandwiches? What would you think?
Is this what we're doing?
Yes.
Hey everybody, welcome to Fearfic Podcast. Tonight we're going to be reading Stay Awake and some other shittier place.
DP, what would you do if Chelsea came up to you and said, I've already made lunch for us and it was radish sandwiches?
And then she said run local and sprinted out of the room.
Well, if she made sandwiches for us with radishes, it would be shitty bread because she's can't have gluten and.
Well, no, that's what it is. It's radish bread. It's a vegan sandwich that uses radish for the bread.
Radish bread.
And it just she's toasted it, but she's put it into a Run Local toaster, and it pops up, and it just has Run Local burned into it.
And it has a little mascot burned in, which is a radish giving a thumbs up.
Fucking shit.
Alright, so we're doing Stay Awake versus No Sleep, the brawl for it all, fight to the death, the deciding factor of which subreddit is better, universally and forever.
Objectively better.
Yes, and we've selected random stories for this. We should have prepared better if it's that important.
And to be fair, let's just get this out in the open. We have no dog in this fight.
Yeah.
We have a history with both of these sites.
Mm-hmm.
The Stay Awake. We might know the moderators there, and No Sleep. We might. Well, it's not a good place.
Might consider it a garbage fire.
Yeah.
Might consider it a garbage fire.
Horrible.
So, not biased at all. Okay,
no.
all
We're
of this is
friends. We may be friends with, or we may be the moderators of Stay Awake, and we may have.
We may not be. We may not be.
I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you guys. I'm fucking one of the mods.
Uh-oh.
Like, sorry, I can't hold it anymore. I just
FAP local.
Local.
And
fuck that. FAP International.
We do have a history with the moderators at No Sleep. They may have banned one of us permanently from one of their subreddits, and one of us may be too afraid to post there because of the flack they'll catch. But we're not biased at all. We're not biased.
But just as we are approaching these stories with an open mind, so too should you. And we'll start off with the story that I'm sure we're going to all agree is going to be better, the one from Stay Awake, which is, I survived an exorcism. What they tell you are lies.
And let me just say, the Stay Awake subreddit looks so much better with its campfire and its, logo, bringing to mind classic campfire tales. Whereas No Sleep has a shitty JPEG with all sorts of artifacts of the No Sleep title with I guess, Twilight Zone?
Trying so hard to look like the Twilight Zone.
Shit. Oh, yeah.
Trying way too hard.
In a world
By the way,
where Wendigos and waifus merge.
No, that would be interesting, and that would not be found in No Sleep.
My wife Endigu.
That would be Archive of Our Own.
Yeah.
Is the avatar for Stay Awake, was that made an art breeder?
Yes.
I can recognize it and I still love it. It's great. I love that website.
It just was
kind of looks like
so.
kind of looks like the head from 12 Minutes.
Okay.
I'm
I'm gonna take your word for that.
You should read 12 Minutes. We should read 12 Minutes. Hey, comment below if you want to see us watch read 12 minutes.
Why not?
I survived an exorcism. What they tell you are lies. So I'm going to be upfront. Really don't like that title.
Same.
It's the no sleep effect from shitty fucking no sleep.
We can blame No Sleep for this having a shitty title, though.
Listen, I just want to say we are at least as unbiased as the moderators of the Creepypasta fandom. Okay, so go ahead.
What's the title of that story we read about the guy who loses his jaw? Or is hanging onto the bridge with his jaw or whatever?
It was called I Lost My Jaw and Now I Wish I Hadn't.
I can't fucking remember the title. I don't remember if it was a bad title or not.
Every night I dream of hanging from a bridge by my teeth or something like that.
What it is. Yeah.
Okay, never mind. I was going to say that wasn't the world's greatest title, but that story was very, very strong.
That also wasn't a shitty title. This is very quick.
Yeah, no, this is a no sleep title, so never mind. That comparison doesn't work.
All right, this is by I Promise I'm Not a Raccoon. What a typical no sleep name. No. They're always promising they're not raccoons.
Have you ever hated someone? Truly hated someone?
Like the no sleep moderators, yeah.
I really hope we catch flack for this episode.
Guys, okay, if anybody wants to give us flack for this episode, have a fucking sense of humor. Okay, go ahead.
Just fucking calm down. Do you know what it's like to be swallowed by anger, to fantasize, and to wish the worst possible punishment on another living being over and over and over again? If you have, I'm sorry. Couldn't relate.
You sorry?
I just don't like the haters. Stab.
If this story was about being exorcised of a really swag demon that's making you dab and saying, like, throwing things at the priest and saying yeet and, shit like that, I'd be okay with it.
I don't see any movement out there.
Floss, everyone, floss! Yes!
Ninja will be one of the prime devils when he passes. So the story, I like, it's posed in the very opening paragraph with an important question. If you have, I'm sorry, why are you sorry? That better be answered, because if it's not, then that's a completely useless sentence.
I think that there's something to it, but
we'll see.
It's a promise. The story is making us a promise. We will see if it fulfills it. I am not convinced that it won't yet.
We're pre-soured on this a little bit, I think, because with an exorcism in the title, that implies heavily demons and demonic activity, which is, at least personally, one of my pet peeves about stories that don't try very hard. Now, this may be the one thing where it's like, oh fuck, this actually tried, cool, But
and it could be about an exorcism that, it's, for lack of a better term, an atheistic story, but the exorcism was done by some super abusive priest or whatever.
Right.
And they did survive.
So a priest,
Right. And so it's really just about, the abuse and the corrupt culture surrounding exorcism and how this person was trapped. Is it going to be? Probably not. But that is free idea, something you could do.
We're already speculating quite a bit.
Yeah, so let's move on to the second paragraph. 2 years ago, my son was taken from me. He was the light of my life. I remember even now how tightly he held my thumb in his little hand when I first held him.
Oof.
His first steps as he walked into my arms from across the kitchen with those big brown eyes and that heart-melting smile. He used to drool on my chest when he slept, and even though he ruined every shirt I had, as I watched his little chest rise and fall, I loved him more than I ever thought possible. Good paragraph.
That's written, I would believe that the author
is a parent.
Has a kid, yeah?
Yeah.
That's written with things that you wouldn't just randomly think of.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like cliche shit. His mother Elizabeth, my Lizzie, was over the moon when she saw him. If you think I loved him, you should have seen her. There's nothing in the world stronger or more beautiful than a mother's love. What about titanium? We name fucking please.
Titanium is the greatest teacher and mother.
If you take a mother loving her child and hit her in the head with titanium, see which one's stronger. I'm just saying. We named him Daniel after Lizzie's father. You should have seen how he cried when we told him.
Should have seen how he cried when we told him.
Lizzie's father.
Oh, I see. Okay. I thought they go to the kid like, hey, you're named after her father. The kid's like, fuck.
Oh, fuck. Oh,
that bald
shit.
guy?
Don't you know to name local, you fucker?
That is naming locally. This is the local name.
All right. It was that first year hit us harder than most. You underestimate how much money it takes to raise another person, and when doctor visits and babysitting fees start to stack up, you realize just how expensive existing is. On top of bills and necessities, Lizzie had a tough time recovering. Oh, boy.
So this is why the birth rate is dropping in America.
That's the thing, is like, can you believe how much money it takes to raise a person? Yes.
Yeah.
That's why we don't do it.
Yeah, I can't.
Just because you're dumb and are breeding.
Dumb breeders.
Everyone's like, Abysmii, you're married now. When are kids? And it's like, well, how the hell am I going to afford a kid when I just took out a second mortgage for my next synthesizer? I can't have both, guys. Sorry.
That's right. What if maybe you could do like those old sitcoms and build a child out of synthesizer parts?
It's the old ones I don't use anymore. Yeah.
Cynthia. There we go.
Brandon's turn.
Cynthia.
I like that. It's actually pretty good.
Postpartum depression swallowed her whole. It
swallowed her what? It swallowed her what?
In the stillness, the complete absence of light. I am Cynthia. The complete absence of light in a loved one's eyes as they fight that mental hell that kills you. It's knowing that they are right there and yet a whole world away, suffering silently. It's the quiet blaming you put on yourself for any little thing you do that you think threw them there. The slow resentment that builds and the guilt that eats you because you know deep down it's not your fault. Lizzie was the strongest person I'd ever known, and although she would peak out from then on, she never fully recovered. She was thrown into a hole too deep and too dark to climb out of. So she tried her best. So she tried as best she could to live in that darkness and make that hole her new normal.
That is also very, very accurate. I hope for this author's sake they didn't have to go through this.
Right.
I think that there is a lot there that is very true about emotions, but I think before this there were aspects that were kind of tying into more physical things, and I think we got a lot of physical and then a lot of emotional stuff, and I think that maybe that could have been evened out a little bit, which is a nitpick, I know, but like, I kind of want to be, critical here.
Excuse me, I'm not getting the same sense.
I think at the end that, like, she threw herself into a deep dark hole and she tried her best to make that her new normal. I think that that's very punching, but I think that they could have gotten to that a little bit quicker in that paragraph, if that makes any sense.
There was a bit of repetition in the symbolism.
Yes.
Yeah, sure. I'll agree with that. So maybe like one sentence could be taken out. But I like the juxtaposition of the physical and then the emotional. This physical thing that's brought so much joy, and then this mental affliction that has just taken all that, joy away. Very powerful.
If this is based on real events, there is a certain, and I'm probably going to disappear up my own ass here, but there is a certain thing to be said about the fact that this person is physically relating to their flesh and blood, the child, and emotionally not physically relating to someone who is another autonomous person unrelated to them, except for their marriage.
Yeah.
Good point. When her maternity leave ended, we had to leave him in daycare. We were nervous wrecks without him. I couldn't exactly keep him with me while I worked construction on the sites, and I doubt Lizzie's bosses would have been thrilled to have him manning the front desk with her, although it would have been adorable.
Danny was a trooper. Oh, wow, that was quick. You got a job as a state trooper.
Just growing up.
Do you know how fast you were going, ma'am? Who's talking? Down here. Oh, yeah.
I was thinking like a soldier. You're thinking state trooper.
Yeah,
I was thinking soldier too.
Tiny little state trooper. Ma'am, don't make me break your window.
Ma'am, are you running locally? If you're not,
Damn it.
You know that new ordinance that's in place from the governor.
She takes off her top and says, "Is there anything we could do about this?" And he goes, "If you're trying to bribe me, I already ate." Danny was a trooper, friendliest little boy alive. Although he couldn't talk too well, he was more than happy to tell us all about his adventures stomping around town on daycare trips. Oh. He loved the park especially. After he was done on the playground, he'd feed the ducks and then sit to eat right there with them. Yeah. He even made us pack a separate lunch just for his favorite duck on park days. Danny loved that park. That's a detail that... See, this is the thing. Either you're really good at writing believable details, or you're just ripping off your own life and plagiarizing from real life, but I can't tell the difference, because,
I hope we're done with the preamble at this point, because we really need to move on.
Right.
I think right about now is when I'm wanting us to get to a point, and we have a single... We have a 2-sentence paragraph, so I think that's kind of nice and punchy. So let's see.
I'll take this one too. Okay.
Okay.
Then a Wendigo snatched him up. Ah, fuck.
Ah, shit. Fuck. And then a Slender Man was snatched up the Wendigo.
And then Siren Head picked up the Slender Man
and yelled at him really loud.
And then Jeff the Killer hopped out of the bushes with a knife, and he's like, "Let me get in on this action."
Oh. Anyway.
I think he knew that too. I think that's why he let us find him there.
That's that. He welcomed us with his arms wide open.
With the arms wide open. I had gotten the call around lunchtime that he was missing. I had capitalized for some reason. I had called Lizzie, and she nearly had a breakdown on the phone. My supervisor tried stopping me, but when I explained to him what had happened, he let me go.
What happened was?
So what happened was, I found out later that he had got together with a few guys to help the search party.
The boss, yeah.
Okay. I gotcha. He's the boss. The boss baby is helping me find the baby.
Oh, God.
It was 16 hours long before we got the news.
The police had found him stuffed in a ditch hidden behind the pond. They had to call in animal services to help retrieve the body.
Because it wasn't a human. Our pet, it was a duck, in fact.
No!
It was a duck, and he was just trying to get food for the other ducks.
Oh. The problem was that whenever someone got too close, the ducks would charge to protect him.
Oh my God.
Oh, are ducks endangered? I don't think they are. I could be wrong. I don't know.
Are ducks in danger? Asks licensed lawyer Abysmii.
What the fuck does that have to do with lawyering?
You should know what's endangered and what isn't, because that's part of the law.
Well, it factually is. It factually is.
Duck local, motherfucker.
Duck local.
You're clearly not an expert in duck law.
I'm not an expert in bird law in general. We couldn't bury him until half a week later, once his body was no longer deemed evidence. What?
I guess he was murdered, so they were holding the body as they...
I was still relating it to the duck thing. Didn't even go to a criminal investigation.
Did you get confused between our jokes and the actual story?
Lizzie followed shortly after.
Why wouldn't they release his dead duck body?
God damn it.
You've heard like a dad bod. Well, you haven't heard of dead duck bod.
What the hell does that consist of?
You ain't ready for that.
Dead duck bod actually was replaced by the episode Moaning Lisa.
Fucking shit.
That's a deep cut.
Mm-hmm. When they got the guy, I pushed for the death penalty. The coroner said it was as if his body had been scrubbed clean before he was dumped. The lack of sufficient DNA evidence to charge him with anything else, coupled with the fact he was a first-time offender, meant the best we could get was 25 to life, which fucking sucks. I was beyond anger. He'd get to spend the rest of his miserable life being pampered in a cell. I don't know if they give you Pampers, but I don't know.
Well, you get old enough, and
maybe Arpaio
fetish movie.
Yeah.
I mean, silver lining, child molesters and child murderers don't have the best time in jail.
Yeah, just ask Jeffrey Dahmer. First day in, I think he was stabbed to death.
Yeah.
Miserable life being there's a happy note for all our listeners out there. Hey, remember when Jeffrey Dahmer was stabbed to death in prison? Fucking, that's dark.
There's just the Predator bicep meme, and one of the arms is labeled just like law-abiding citizens, and then the other one is labeled
vengeful prisoners.
Vengeful prisoners.
Killing pedophiles.
Yeah. Kill pedophiles locally.
You know what? Props to the story. This is very dark. This is subject matter that is hitting. So, congrats.
For anyone who's just joining us, if this video has been shared somewhere, just keep in mind we are unabashed assholes and proud of it. Pampered in a cell, being fed 3 meals a day, while I had to pick up the pieces as I buried my wife and child. So, it says that she followed shortly after. I would assume she probably killed herself. I don't know.
Yeah.
I had begged God for justice, for that son of a bitch to get what he deserved, but justice never came.
That's because God isn't real.
Yeah.
Wake up, sheeple.
Wake up, sheeple. Religion is a lie.
Wake up, ducks.
Wake up, duckbull. When I heard he was out on bond, I became obsessed. I felt myself going mad every day that bastard was allowed to breathe another lungful of air. At least they're just limiting it. At least they're just limiting him to 1 a day. Okay, anyway. Had to get that joke out as I choked. Even though I was still living and breathing, he killed us both the day he took my Daniel. I died the night I picked my son up out of that hole as if he were a piece of trash tossed into the bushes. Alright, now that's where it loses me a bit, because I don't think they would have the dad picking up the kid when the police find him.
Did you find it, or did the police?
It said in the beginning that the kid loved being by the pond, and that's why the killer might have left him there for the parents to find him, but it did say previously that the police dogs were needed to find the kid, and the ducks were chasing the dogs away.
Yeah, I think if they did find him and they had police out there searching, then the coroner's office probably would have actually, taken over because evidence.
That's the only part that has lost me so far here, is they wouldn't let the dad mess with the body at all. But, yeah.
I mean, you take that out and this story loses nothing. Right. Even when it's in, it's kind of an aside. It's not ruining anything.
I guess you could change I to they. I died the night they picked my son up out of that hole as if he were a piece of trash. That would be totally fine.
Sure.
When the lawyers turned their backs on me, I decided to take matters into my own hands. The criminal justice system was nothing more than a circus act, and I was a monkey dancing to its beat. I took what little I had left over from the lawyer fees and bought a revolver and a box of bullets. I only needed 2, one for him and one for me. So I like that, but I will say this speaks less to the realism of, having the son on my chest drooling and this kind of stuff. I took what little I had left over from lawyer fees and bought a revolver. Yeah, it would wipe you out financially and everything, but it's not expensive to get a revolver.
DP knows. Don't test him. You sure you want to leave that comment on this video? Don't test him.
Depends on what state you're in.
That's true.
He's living in a law-abiding liberty state that doesn't violate the NAP.
Gun local. Anyway.
Shoot local. Oh.
Shoot your shots, not your classmates.
Jesus Christ.
Stop dressing like you fuck your mom. When the lawyers... Oh, sorry, you already did that. The night before I did it, I went to church one last time. Here, I think, is where we finally get the devil exorcism thing, which is kind of far into the story, and I like that. Yeah. I just hope it doesn't shit the bed. Drunker than I'd ever been, I walked into that warmly lit temple. You must have not been very drunk, because if you can stand...
If you can stand, you're not Abysmii drunk.
If you can record a podcast and you are not drunk enough, and let the Lord have it.
The cross, and I also kneel when I'm taking a shot.
God damn it.
Lord should be capitalized. I had prayed for his death the Lord's day after day, week after week, but every time I did, God failed to deliver. He just kept getting resurrected. It's just bullshit. As I sat on that pew and sipped that bottle dry, I told him that if he couldn't deliver my peace, then I'd find it from the devil.
Bum, bum, bum.
As I drunkenly trudged through that cold night, bitter and angry, I heard it. I kind of don't like that. It would be more, I guess, more believable, more reasonable to say, God, if you can't deliver this to me, then I'll just take matters into my own hands.
I think this, I could be wrong. This could just totally shit in my face and, but, I think it's supposed to be, like, poetically, not literal. Like, in other words,
if
he couldn't deliver me peace, I'd find it from the devil. I think it's supposed to be like, I'll find it by sinning, like.
Sure.
But,
it's just, we do have some religiosity in this story.
Right.
But I don't think it's been exactly earned, that sentence. If we had a little bit more of, we went to church every day, I prayed to God through the postpartum depression, I prayed to God through losing my son and my wife, like, it kind of would be more earned, but here it's just kind of like, and then the devil. And even if it is metaphorical, it feels a little bit out of nowhere.
Let's, if we don't mind, play the devil's advocate. If it was like God would either, one, be like, okay, we get it, you're a redneck fucking God-worshipping God guy, or conversely, it's like, religion in my creepypasta? So I kind of got this undertone of a certain sort of lifestyle from the tone and the subject matter and the way that everything is unfolded, but I like that it hasn't been on the nose until now about, like, I went to a church and my prayers were failing, I'd go to the devil. So
is God both... purple guy? Am I God? Is everything connected?
You could infer that this is kind of just a last resort because he has nothing else, and
his life has been cut into pieces.
With arms definitely closed.
I heard the voice of a woman calling my name. I looked around, but I couldn't spot anyone. Still, I had heard it clear as day. It followed me every step of the way home, and that night... I thought that was going to be every step of the way home that night, so I went a little too far there. It followed me every step of the way home, and that night, she visited me. I had been having the same nightmare over and over again since it happened. Reliving that stomach-turning moment, I walked across those bushes to find my little boy face down in the mud.
With arms wide open.
Yeah, we're doubling down on the father finding the body, and that just reminds me how I don't like that part. That night, however, was different. That night, I was reliving the first time I had ever laid eyes on my sweet little Danny.
I was being pushed out of my wife's distended cooter.
God damn it. I felt the...
I scalped tickets for Distended Cooter once.
Oh. Who were they opening for? I felt the soft pressure of his little hand as his little hand...
The Bubba Fucks cover band.
God damn it.
I think Abysmii, you straight up missed the joke of who were they opening for.
Oh, god damn it.
I felt the soft pressure of his little hand as his little hand took hold of my finger, and felt that same happiness wash over me. For the briefest of moments, I knew happiness again. I was so enveloped in that warmth that I didn't feel her watching me. God, this is like, we're not giving like no reverence to a story that should probably have a little bit of reverence about child murder.
It's kind of turning into revenge porn, or just vengeance porn, I guess, and you gotta be careful with that. You lose your readers' emotional investment if it just becomes, I'm so fucking pissed off all the time.
Well, I mean, he's decided to do something. It doesn't mean that there will be anything more about that. I mean, it could just be... he's so at the end of his rope that here's what he was willing to do, but it's going to go in a completely different direction. Who knows?
I'm talking more of like, remember my son's dead? Oh man, I'm angry. Fuck God. Remember how I held my son? And it's like, oh yeah, we know.
He got up from his dead son and angry. Yeah.
This is the culmination of, this guy's been 25 to life, so he's been in jail for a good while, and his wife died soon after, committed suicide soon after. He's had a lot of time for these wounds to fester, wherein a normal, adapted person they would be depressed and they would heal over time, and it would be very painful and depressing, and there would be a mix of emotions. You have time to almost become detached from your anger, even though it's there, if that makes any sense.
We also don't know how recently the guy got out on parole. So that may be, like, he may have been like, shit happens, whatever. It's in the past. And then the guy got out on parole and he was like, I'm mad again.
Yeah. But in America, 25 to life, so 25 years, he's going to get paroled in about a year, okay? So that's pretty considerable amount of time. Mm-hmm. Listen, we have a crowded problem with our prisons and the prison industrial complex. Anyway, he's adorable, she said softly. She was dressed like the nurse that had delivered my Danny, but her eyes were black as coal. I was too shocked to say anything. In an instant, fear had gripped me tight. Oh yeah, this is a dream. I forgot.
Is it?
I think so.
Everything's a dream on No Sleep.
The night I did it. Blah,
it's not No Sleep.
I know.
It's r/2.
But it's got a No Sleep title.
It does.
It has No Sleep influences. So.
The night before I did it, I went to church one last time, got drunk, left, and then I heard a voice. I don't know, this is a dream.
That night, however, was different. I was reliving blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I don't know. Who knows?
I think I can say safely I don't like eyes as black as coal.
Yeah, I don't
Racist.
like they were meeting the actual devil. It's just, it's so hard to do.
Are we, though?
Well, what else would it be?
It could be God.
Either way, like, I don't like that.
Maybe like gods are actually devils and devils are actually gods.
Oh,
do you ever think that maybe Satan left heaven for a reason? Like, maybe he was onto something.
Do you ever think, like, Lucifer maybe was just like God's rebellious teenage son, kind of like me and my dad? And maybe...
What would you do if your son got murdered by ducks and then they found him in the fucking sewer and, like, God was laughing at you?
What would you do if your son became the youngest state trooper ever at the age of 2 years old?
And pulled over your mom for a speeding ticket.
Yeah.
I heard your prayers, she continued, gently placing a finger in front of Danny. I'm afraid he doesn't work that way. Okay, so does Dream. All right. I heard Danny giggle as he let go of my thumb and grabbed her index finger. When I finally regained my composure, all I could ask was, Who are you?
Who are you?
Who's that girl? Eyes as black as coal.
I'm someone who can help, she spoke, offering a gentle smile. I was like you once, too. Not exactly. For me, it was my daughter, so this isn't the devil. I felt that same heartbreak that's eating you away every second of the day, that mental minefield that comes with every waking moment, and the monsters that follow you into your dreams. That sounds like a My Chemical Romance song or something. I know what it's like to lose your whole world. Okay.
Tears had begun to well up in the dark pools of her eyes. I watched the tears silently fall as Danny wrestled with her hand.
As opposed to loud-ass tears.
She cried loudly, her eyeballs echoing into the night. I want to help you. I want to help you because I know he won't.
My eyes narrowed. I knew what she was. I knew where she came from and what she wanted. And out of everything in that moment, what really scared me was the overwhelming sense of sincerity in her voice. What do you mean he won't help? I croaked finally.
Even in the haunting, bottomless darkness of her eyes, I saw sincere sadness dance across her face. He never knew how. Oh, wait. He never knew how. She whispered.
Elias, I want you to put echo and reverb on that whisper. Which brings us to the very important thing of, why does evil exist?
Because good men do nothing?
Because God, man.
God made it.
God made it.
The night I found out the truth was the night I sold my soul. I made her promise to torture that bastard that stole my every ounce of happiness away from me. So
I made her promise too, yeah.
You commissioned the devil to do it? Homie, you got a revolver.
This is a real dark web hitman.
Yeah, that's a good point. The condition of the deal were that I that once I allow her in, she would be in full control of my body until either we both perished or she was exorcised. She explained that in the event of the latter, although I would be free from her, she wouldn't rest until she found me again. Lastly, she emphasized that my soul would forever be bound to service hell, that I would be disfigured and my spirit branded unfit for God's compassion and entry into heaven. This deal is so unbelievably obviously not worth it.
Yeah, I mean, you could just kill him anyway. Plenty of people do it.
Just fucking kill him.
Or don't kill him and stew, whatever.
Listen, okay, shit or get off the pot, homie.
Literally hire an actual deep web hitman, but don't really, because they just will probably take your money and not do anything, because what are you going to do, report them?
Listen, if you don't like someone, just kill them, okay?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm definitely going to edit that out of context.
Beginning of the episode.
As far as I was concerned, there was no such thing as his compassion, and hell couldn't be worse than what I had lived through every time I opened my eyes. Have you not read the Bible? Have you not read Dante's Inferno?
I mean, you could be in hell. It could be literally raining your dead son 24/7.
Yeah.
I mean,
You fucking idiot.
You could be reliving your son's death over and over and over again forever.
Which he already is.
You could be running locally, just forever, eternally.
Running unlocally.
No!
Running where you aren't. How do you do that? Oh, you're going to find out, Sonny.
What would you do if you went to hell and then you found out that your feet were your dead son and you had to run on them constantly?
God damn it. Picturing like clown shoes, but the honks are just Dad, 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 Dad. This is not good. We're not respecting this story in any regard.
Okay. We'll bring it back down to reality. We're done. We're almost through it.
Whoops! There goes gravity.
I agreed and let her loose, and she would go on to honor our agreement to the latter. I watched as that stain on humanity went through every horror that body would physically allow. I watched for the first time as a soul was dragged and broken in hell. From time to time, I still think of it. I think that we're all thinking the same exact thing. There is no need to make this deal with the devil.
No.
There are reasons that you might make a deal with the devil, but I just don't think that any person would, not even a reasonable person, I don't think an unreasonable person would take this deal. It's such a bad deal.
Even the only time that Faustian bargains are interesting are when you outsmart the devil or the demon that you made a pact with.
Maybe that's coming. I don't know.
Maybe. You're probably thinking, wow, what a stupid deal to make. It was torture being trapped with a demon in your body. That once you sign yourself over, you're subject to, this would be you are, subject to the worst punishment imaginable. You'd be wrong. The reason it's so hard to exorcise a demon from a body isn't because they're fighting to stay. It's because we want them to stay. Okay. Interesting.
I don't know if that twist is strong enough, but we'll see. In exchange for your body, they create a new reality where you retain everything you lost. Okay, so it's like a Stephen King's Dreamcatcher situation.
Yeah.
Which nobody ever will know because nobody cared about that. She let me live to see a life that was so unjustly taken. I saw my son grow, and I died a happy man with my wife alongside me, over and over and over. I never knew suffering while I was there. I never knew pain. She explained to me that those who sought the devil out willingly knew suffering he could never replicate, and that those brave enough to ask for his help would receive it in full and so much more. That even though God never knew how to help the devil, God never knew how to help, should be there, the devil wouldn't hesitate to try and learn how. So this is our big twist. I survived an exorcism, what they tell you are lies. The lie is that demons are bad?
I think we should finish and then
we only have a little.
Yeah.
We only have a little left, and I don't think we're going to get like any explanation of the exorcism itself. Which, the night that the priests ripped the demon out of my body, God took my life a second time. Okay, so there you go. That's The actual exorcism itself in I Survived an Exorcism is a single sentence.
And would this be cause for concern if not for the no sleep title problem?
I don't know. I think I'm not really a big fan of it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's the whole thing. But I'm just thinking, if it wasn't featured so prominently in the title, it'd be like, who cares if they didn't describe the exorcism? But it's like,
yeah,
that was kind of the whole focal point of the title. But
you really do pigeonhole yourself when you use certain tropes and terms and settings. Ever since then, I've been wandering the streets looking for her, and as I walk those roads, I can hear it. When my soul was freed, I gained something. I don't know if it's an extra sense or something that's always been there. Now I can hear them. In every home, across every alley, and every street, go to a liquor store and ask for her. All over the world, I hear those desperate prayers for help, prayers almost identical to the ones I sent as I boiled alive in agony those 2 years ago. The suffering pleas of the world are almost as deafening as the silence that echoes back. I would have much more appreciated this if he, killed the priest trying to exorcise him and kept the demon in, so basically he can't die, he won't go to hell, and he's trapped the demon somehow. That would have been a nice twist.
Well, I mean,
not satisfied with the ending.
Have you spotted the second twist here? Folks, gentlemen, I've invited you to the sitting room, and I've brought you here to ask you if you have discovered the secret second twist at the ending here. The same twist that I just noticed, and I was wondering if you are as smart as I am.
Is he still locked in that world?
No.
The fake one? No? Okay.
DP, would you like to hazard a guess?
This story isn't revenge porn?
The woman who came to him was not a demon. The woman who came to him was someone who lost her child and prayed for help, and the devil, helped her out, probably in the same way that she helped this guy. At the end, this guy can hear the prayers like his. He has become like that woman, and he's going to possess someone else.
Wait, so he's a demon?
I would think that the woman in the story and the guy at the end are not actually classic quote-unquote demons. They've become some otherworldly creation that this author has conceived of, which is someone who possesses people and, is part of this cycle.
So, and so his punishment is he now has to walk the earth trying to help someone else and is tortured by the sounds of people's desperate prayers. And this is a benefit to the devil by the transitive property because people are going and getting vengeance. I
think when it says when the priest ripped that demon from my body, God took my life a second time, I think that's literal, as in he died in the process, and now he's wandering.
But then so instead of going to hell, he's now some type of demonic entity.
Right, because
that is... Okay.
In the beginning, it said, not in the beginning, but toward the middle, it says, she emphasized that my soul would be ever bound to service hell.
Right.
Not that I would go to hell. That I would be disfigured and my spirit branded and unfit. I'd be disfigured. He'd have coal black eyes.
Okay.
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 I'm not saying that this forgives any, faults that we found so far, but...
Well, that's a much better ending. That is a much more satisfying twist.
I think if I think correctly about this, I think it's basically saying that demons don't exist. Satan, has just created this chain letter of black-eyed people.
The chain continues.
Yeah, you just, So DP.
Why would Satan want to murder evil people?
It's not so much. This is the very traditional Satan wants souls, and if he has your soul and you're servicing him, that's a boon to him. That's what he wants. It doesn't have a lot of explanation beyond that.
And so God is up there. He's like, oh god damn it! All of these fucking child murderers getting revenged on. I don't like it.
Well, I think it says in the story, if we are to take at face value what the characters have said, the woman who possesses him says that God never knew how to help, and that Satan is trying to figure out how to help. So
Yeah.
it's the typical kind of thing of, like you said, what if Satan is the good guy and God just doesn't care, man?
Well, and it's not so much like that the child murderer dies. It's also the fact that someone is willingly saying, okay, I reject heaven. I will never be made fit to be redeemed and never go there.
Yeah.
So, and that is, whether or not God in this story cares about that, but I guess we could assume he does. The actual power play between heaven and hell isn't as important as the fact that this is not the typical exorcism story, which I do appreciate.
Well, I think it is important because the story is presenting that. If you're going to say like all of this stuff about this twist, then I think it is presenting that idea of, okay, what is God? What is the motive of God and Satan in this?
Right. I mean, all we get...
Tragic
Well, it doesn't really matter the motive of God because he turned his back on God and said, I'll seek help with the devil. And even if that was metaphorical, that did happen in a way. So it's
not metaphorical. He literally did it.
But either way, even if you could take it metaphorically at that moment in time in the story, that's the focus of the narrative, and it doesn't bother me whether or not this 100% lines up with
focus of the narrative. Mythology. The focus of the narrative is revenge.
Yeah.
And then making a really poor Faustian bargain. And listen, you got to read Trump's Art of the Deal when you're having a conversation with the devil. If the devil is like, "I will take your soul for being good at guitar," and it's like, for eternity, can you make me pretty good at guitar for some period of time?
But I think you're forgetting the fact that this was posted on Stay Awake and not No Sleep, so it's good. It's better.
You're right. Mm-hmm.
I like this. Well, this is refreshing in that we don't have a unanimous decision as to its quality at the end.
I feel like
that's nice.
I feel like this is my personal opinion. This is my takeaway from the whole thing. I feel like the author of the story, and I'm guessing the motives of the author, and I'm probably wrong and whatever and so forth. I feel like this is one of those stories that was something tailored to try to work on No Sleep, that loves its demons and loves its exorcisms and loves all that stuff, and was somebody trying to think of how to do that, but in a way where they're not really doing that. Like, I'm not really writing a demon story. I am still doing something original, but I'm going to do it within the confines of, I have to write the clickbait title with the exorcism in it, and I have to have the fact that you think it's a demon, but then at the end it's not really. It's my original thought. What do you think,
I think that for sure it started off stronger, but then as it went on, it kind of focused on perhaps the wrong things that were less interesting. I think that actually exploring the mechanics of the exorcism and how that plays out and all of that kind of stuff.
You could even just explore the exorcism again through the emotional stuff, like the beginning. Talk about how the priest looked and how you felt and how you just the
because the beginning was very tactile.
Yeah,
I don't know. I can appreciate this story simply because I take that. I don't know. It's a hypocritical. It's a hypocritical exception because if I take out the title, then the story's fine. But I also don't read most No Sleeps because the title is fucking garbage. But the title, there's no part of the story that is so out of place that it makes me kind of sour on it. But that's just me.
Well, I also appreciate the story simply because it was posted to Stay Awake.
That is very true.
Speaking of which, let's go on to No Sleep. We're back at No Sleep, and we're going to be reading My Friend Was a Coast Guardsman for the U.S. Coast Guard. He told me some stories before passing away.
Could have just said my friend was part of the U.S. Coast Guard, because that's kind of a clunky way of saying it. This is by Oscar494.
Oscar494, why are you posting on No Sleep and not Stay Awake? What the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, that sounds like a mistake. Listen, you're getting 32 upvotes. Exorcism got like 80-some. Just go over to Stay Awake and you're going to get more positive reception. Okay, get them upvotes.
Here's the thing. On No Sleep, more people are going to see your post. On Stay Awake, better people are going to see your post. It's quantity versus quality.
I wouldn't say that more people are guaranteed to see your post on No Sleep. It has to be posted at an ideal time, have an ideal title, not be deleted, and that is such a crapshoot that I think you actually have a better chance of getting significant upvotes on Stay Awake as it stands.
Definitely upvotes, that's for sure. Yeah, especially with all the No Sleep posters going around downvoting every other post so that they go up. So, I mean...
What I'm saying is if you want to farm karma, come over to Stay Awake.
That's right. Okay, so my friend was a Coast Guardsman for the U.S. Coast Guard. He told me some Coast Guard stories before passing away, as Abysmii said something similar before we recorded. Okay, go ahead.
Yep. The Coast Guard, the oldest continuous seagoing service of the United States.
Wow.
I still remember the day Owen got in. Whitest smile I'd ever seen on him, apart from his wedding day, of course.
When he married
Mr.
another
Widemouth.
Coast Guardman. Yeah.
Mr. Widemouth joined the Coast Guard.
God, the Simpsons are really doing some weird episodes. What the fuck?
Treehouse of Horrors just lost the plot.
Homer, Mr. Widemouth has joined the Coast Guard.
Marge!
Oh no!
I discovered Creepypasta.com. There's so many ads.
Marge, Jeff the Killer is coming to Springfield. He's so
if that
cool.
happens, if that actually happens, I don't know what I'll do. I don't know what I'll do.
It had been a dream of his since we were kids. Having shared a love of the ocean, I understood him. But where he had gone for the Coast Guard, I settled for a swimming instructor. Not as fancy, but I enjoyed it.
Not as prestigious, not as well-paying, not as impressive.
He didn't settle for being a swimming instructor. He settled for a swimming instructor.
Mm-hmm.
I hope whoever it is really hot.
Wendy Testerberg.
What? Okay.
Wait, Wendy Peppercorn. Fuck.
Okay.
I got that wrong.
How'd you get Testerberg?
That's from something.
For some reason, I went to South Park, and I was trying to go to Sandlot. My bad.
Wendy Testaverde. Okay, anyway.
Through the years, Owen and I would meet up and share typical stories. He's like, yeah, man, this one time we were out there and I had to fucking, save someone who was, their ship got wrecked by a fucking iceberg at night. It was crazy. I was in a helicopter. Yeah, I taught a boy to swim. That was it.
I taught one boy to swim out of the entire class. The rest drowned. But
I actually called the Coast Guard in, but they're too far away. Nothing that seemed too out of the ordinary. It was only a few months after he joined the Coast Guard when I started to see him change. His demeanor, his expression, and overall energy that he'd bring just wasn't the same. It wasn't until I finally confronted him about it when he began to really open up about what had been happening.
The following are some of the park search and rescue stories. I mean, some of the stories he shared with me over the years.
Oh, man.
Oh, God, I just saw the word search and rescue in the next paragraph.
Oh, this is this tired format. Are we really doing this? Oh, no. All right, here we go.
Am I taking this, or are you going with this?
No, I'll go for it.
Okay.
Number 1. Number
15.
The last thing you want to see in the Coast Guard is fucking thing.
Slender Man.
Slender Seaman. Wait.
If you guys know anything about the Coast Guard, you'll know that one of their main missions is search and rescue.
There's a staircase at the bottom of the fucking ocean.
No. Oof. One particular story involved the search for this kid after their parents reported him being carried out by a rip current.
Man, if only someone had taught that kid to swim. The real hero is swimming instructor.
The thing that stood out about the story, though, was how no one taught the kid how to swim. Was how the kid had gone missing.
In the rip current.
He walked down a staircase into the water and drowned.
Is a rip current a thing, or is it a rip tide?
Rip currents are in rip tides. So the rip tide is
not all rip tides are rip currents, but all rip currents are rip tides.
Yeah,
kind of. Yeah, and if you're not a strong swimmer, they will fucking take you way out.
No.
I actually got caught in one when I was young, but I was a surfer at that point, so I was like, swim out of this. Fuck, this is scary. Oh my god, I made it out.
He came out giving a thumbs up riding a surfboard. Anyway, what is a peptide, though?
Pepto-Bismol? Oh, that's
okay.
I don't know. I'm not kidding.
Hideo Kojima. According to the parents, they brought their kid along with a friend for a beach day. Oh. While the parents had been laying out in the sand, sunning their genitals, the kids had gone to the shore to see which one could hold their breath the longest
my genitals
underwater.
Mom, Dad, while you lie here, we're gonna go see which one of us drowns. You kids have fun. Jesus
While
Christ.
you were sunning my genitals, I was studying the tides.
Oh, that's a possible title right there.
That's a no story. That's a free one. Have it.
Post it, you fucker.
The mother claimed she could see them both not too far away from the shore when they went under. Less than a minute later, the friend's head popped back out, but her son never did.
Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
If you and your friend go underwater and the first one who can't hold their breath, loses, are you playing chicken of the sea?
The kid's friend appeared to be just as confused as the mother, going back under to only pop back up and look around. They looked around, but eventually began to panic, alerting the entire beach, at which point, with someone called 911.
I don't think I can forgive you for that pun.
Oh, well.
Pretty bad.
Oh, well.
It's pretty good, too. The kid's friend had told them that they'd been staring right at each other before going under and that he'd kept his eyes closed underwater. That's where you get goggles, fool. When he came up and didn't see him, he went down again, eyes open this time, but the kid was gone.
With eyes wide open.
My friend got lost in a riptide.
Welcome to the sea. Okay, anyway.
Show you the staircase.
Fuck.
The parents had assumed it was a rip current because they didn't know what else could have taken him so suddenly. Oh no, it's the whole fucking ocean. There's nothing else in it that you could possibly consider.
Maybe a shark? No.
Fucking shark fucking killed somebody in San Diego just the past week. It still happens. The parents had assumed it was a rip current because they so that the chance of it only taking one of the kids when they were only a few feet away from each other wasn't likely, though. Yeah. And any type of marine life large enough to take a kid that size would have been spotted that close to the shore. Not necessarily. Owen told them they spent the better part of a week searching for the kid, but they never found any traces of him. Did you look behind the pond where the ducks are? Could be there.
Was your kid glowing green and was he screaming I'm your G?
The king of Suma Beach showed up and said, "Oh my God, are we sunning our genitals today?"
The king of Suma Beach came up to the kid holding his breath underwater and said, "Why are you underwater? Are you dead? Is it okay if I kick you?"
He punched him in the fucking diaphragm and he drowned.
Yes. "This kid is dead. You parents are terrible," he said before peeling out in his limousine. I don't know. So what do we think about that story being... That's the first story. That whole thing is... That's one of the weird cases the Coast Guard guy told was a kid went missing in the ocean.
From a
Here's
supposed...
what they don't tell you. Here's what they don't tell you. That kid is Ben.
Oh!
All
right, so I'm just saying it seems a little lackluster as a story that someone, like a grizzled old Coast Guardsman, would tell people. It's like, one time a kid went missing. That's it.
Yeah, very, because, it's weird that we don't have more input from the Coast Guard guy in this, because it's really just the parents going, maybe a rip current. Couldn't be a shark, and the Coast Guard probably would have more input on that, so it's kind of just, yeah, we didn't find him. Whatever.
Yeah,
there needs to be a stinger in there. There needs to be, something at the end that's just weird, but yeah.
That's the thing. The author forgot that they're supposed to be telling that story from the perspective of Owen.
Yeah.
I mean, from the
2. One case he told me about that had freaked him out involved the report of a foreign vessel being spotted in the area. No. He was sent out with a team to investigate. When they got there, a fishing vessel had anchored next to a sailboat in poor condition. Jeffrey Epstein was on board. When questioned later, the fisherman claimed he'd only wanted to help after spotting the sailboat and didn't want any trouble. When Owen's team boarded the vessel, they found a young married couple. They were hiding in the inner cabin in a closet space, both visibly shaken. Owen tried talking to them, but they responded in another language. Oh. E-way, er-way, out-way, on-way, our-way, ailboat say. It's pig Latin, folks. When The team took them outside. The couple trembled, looking around them in fear. Owen said it was a cloudless day and the ocean was extremely peaceful, so he didn't understand what had them so frightened. Obviously, they were lost in a storm and they eventually floated there during a peaceful day. I mean...
Yeah, who knows?
They kept rambling something the team couldn't understand because it was in another language. One of them even yelled at some point. Wow, really? Someone eventually realized they were speaking Italian. Oh! So they were on this boat and they were just going beepity boppity boopy.
I'm on this boat over here. Yay.
There ain't no pizza pazoo on the boat and I'm really scared.
Hey, yo, you finally found us. Hey, we've been out here all the time. Oh, my God. And like, I don't understand them. What are they saying?
We're going to start cannibalizing each other because of the implications. Hey, yo.
Hey, oh, we've been subsisting on a diet of grease and hair. Anyway.
My fellow man here. Hey.
Well, what if she calls the Coast Guard? Well, she won't call the Coast Guard because of the implication.
Yeah. They were speaking Italian and were able to find a translator that they were to talk to them over their radio device. The translator
Their radio device.
The
computing device.
Fuck. The translator told the team that the couple was incoherent. Well, that fucking did a lot of good. They're rambling in incoherent Italian. So Italian. That they were rambling about the storm and a black and white thing.
They kept talking over each other and to each other very, very quickly. No one could get a word out.
Yeah. They weren't getting anything from the couple out there, so they decided to take them back to the mainland.
Well, I hope that's what you would do anyway.
Yeah. We're just gonna, I tell you what, we're just gonna leave them out on the boat on the ocean.
They'll sort it out. God will sort it out. Whatever.
Yeah. The translator managed to calm them down and they agreed to head back together. Okay, so a storm and a black and white thing. An orca. Okay, yeah.
I get the feeling that this is not going to deliver on any promise of like a weird, ambiguous thing.
Well, it is No Sleeps, huh?
It's going to be a collection of stuff, like Search and Rescue is.
A storm of staircases just plummeting from the heavens.
Orca storm, stormcas.
Storm cases.
Hey, Sci-Fi Channel, get at us.
Hey.
On the way there, one of them started talking to Owen. She was shaking and looked terrified. Her words seemed almost as if she was pleading to him about something. Owen got the translocator on the radio, but he told...
I wish. Oh, I wish.
Can I have the spicy meatball, please? She wants something. I can't tell what.
But he told Owen to ignore her. Easier said than done, though. Looking back, he remembered feeling really uncomfortable, the woman being only one of the reasons. He said he felt very anxious while the translocator continued to advise that he ignored her.
Okay, translator. You are saying translocator.
He knows that. It's a Sombra thing. He's a Sombra whore. He's a whore for Sombra. Oh my God,
he's literally what happened.
He's a Sombro.
Oh yeah, no, I'm 100% a Sombro.
Yeah.
She eventually started to yell, though, and the team tried retraining her by restraining her, while the translocator attempted to calm her down. She pushed on, screaming, fighting them while looking at something behind them. She was really losing it when they all heard a loud splash behind their boat. The woman went silent then. She looked for her husband, who had fallen asleep early on, like I'm about to, and sat beside him. Neither spoke for the rest of the trip. The proper authorities took the couple once they had reached land, and no one didn't hear anything about them after that.
Okay.
He did manage to speak to the translocator not long after, though. Curious, Owen asked him what the woman was saying. The translocator laughed. He turned himself into a pickle.
Fucking goddamn it.
Funniest shit I'd ever seen. Told him she was nuts, but then went on to say that she had been repeating the same thing over and over and over again. It's coming. It's here. It wants you now.
Oh boy.
Why would the translator... A translator is listening on a radio to someone speaking Italian and translating it. The person that he cannot see in a scenario that he is not witness to or privy to. He has no idea what's going on the other end of the radio. The person he's translating is saying, it's here, it's coming. Mm-hmm. Why would he immediately think, she's nuts, nothing's there and coming? Like,
more like they're rambling and they don't sound like all there mentally, but yeah, it's,
you might as well tell them
what you're saying. Yeah. That point about laughing is just like, oh, think nothing of it, but there's something there. Like, yeah, we know. You don't need to do that.
Yeah, that woman was nuts. She was completely nuts. Back then when I was listening, she kept rambling on and on about there was a third person who just fell overboard. I don't know what that means. That's stupid. Yeah. I didn't tell you at the time because it's unimportant.
No one falls off a boat.
Yeah.
Number 3, another bizarre missing person story that also involved kids.
Yay.
In this one, the parents had just bought a boat and took the family of 5 out for the day. They had anchored themselves a bit out of the way from what Owen told me. I get what you're saying with that. That's weird.
Here's the problem. It says a family of 5, but it doesn't give us any more details. Is it 2 dads and 3 kids? Is it a husband and wife and another wife and 2 kids? We don't know. It's like...
It's 2 wives and 3 husbands.
Oh, 2 wives and 3 husbands. Coming to ABC this fall.
I know it said it involved kids, but that's a misdirect. At some point, the parents took their eyes off the kids. They said it must have happened within 5 minutes, if not less, but suddenly they heard the splashes. The parents rushed down, but only saw the after effect of their fall, the water already adjusting back. The oldest child, a boy of about 14 or 15, I guess someone may not remember exactly, said he'd seen them watching the water from the side of the boat. He'd looked away just before they both went in. Both parents jumped into the water, couldn't find either one of the kids. This was a girl age 6 and a boy about age 8. After failing to locate either one, the father radioed for help.
So, kids falling in the water again, there needs to be a stinger. There was a stinger in the last one, at least.
Yeah.
But we need a stinger here, otherwise it's not a notable thing that a Coast Guardsman would really...
If we're going to be deleting stories for not being horror...
It's a bad type of no-sleep story in which you're aping off a trend of just spooky shit happening via the telling of a professional and nothing... Your little anthology series... I don't say little to belittle it, but like it's just small. There's not a lot here.
It's a short story, yeah.
It's a short story with short stories in it, and the short stories barely have anything happening. So your readers are sitting there going, "When is this going to start? When is the scary going to start?" This is just, and then one time, Slender Man in the woods, and then also Slender Man at the drive-thru. Like that's all we have.
There's no Slender Man.
Sure, there's like Slender Man once, kind of, and then the rest of it's just like one time I got scared. I got scared when the lights went out.
A black and white thing. What if it's Slender Man in a black pair of swim trunks?
Oh my god.
That would be cool. Moving around like an octopus through the ocean, you know? I want to issue a challenge, though, to anybody out there listening. If you can get onto No Sleep and write a story, I want the title of the story to be, "My friend worked for Toys R Us, now that they're out of business, he can tell his stories." Okay? And I want you to write a list of unremarkable things happening in the Toys R Us, like, one time this child came in and asked where the Tonka trucks were. He directed the kid to the right aisle and then never saw the kid again. You know, like, things where it's like, yeah. Just write stuff like that. Make it really spooky sounding, but nothing fucking happens. See if you can get away with it.
And don't make an anthology unless you are really, really confident in that each piece is going to either link together or they're each just fucking off the charts good little microfiction, because this is what happens if you're not careful.
When Owen's team arrived, they actually managed to find the little boy. His head had been poking out of the water, not too far from where the boat had been anchored. Owen said they'd asked how he'd gotten so far on his own, and the boy told them that a man with weird eyes had asked him and his sister if they wanted to go look for treasure together. I like the treasure part, I don't like the eye part, because everything is always eyes.
It was a giant man in a bear costume, struggling for breath.
Come with me quickly, please. Oh my god.
We need to go fire camping away from the water.
Yeah. I
Mr. Bear
hate
and
water camping. So, I will say this again. I don't like the eyes thing, because that's a big trope, is, eyes.
Yeah.
But I do like the idea of something in the water asking the kids if they want to go find treasure. I mean, it's a little Candle Cove, but
Should have just started with this.
Yeah. It's a good hook, is what I'm saying, for a creature that pulls children into the water. Hey, you want to go find some pirate treasure?
You can't start here, Abysmii, because then there's no meandering, and then
There's no wasted time.
The man had apparently climbed up the boat like Spider-Man and pulled them into the ocean. Oh, so he didn't. Okay.
Oh.
Now he's just Pennywise. You want a balloon, and he pulls them in. Then dragged them away underwater. He's black and white. Maybe he's a clown. The man then told the boy that he'd take his sister to the treasure first and then come back for him. That he was not move from there until someone came. Is that right?
Not to move, but...
Yeah, I know, but I just want to make sure I didn't fuck that up.
Yeah, no, yeah.
That was the spot they'd found the boy in. Following this, they searched long and wide for the girl, both by sea and by air. They assumed... Well, she's not going to be in the air. They assumed the girl had been kidnapped. But
She's just flying through it. Help!
I fell up! They assumed the girl had been kidnapped, but no vessels were found in the area. Now here's the thing. I feel like the first two stories were so realistic in terms of, like, you wouldn't have somebody telling those stories as spooky because they're just, like, real-world events. Who cares?
Yeah.
But then this is like, okay, now we're going off the rails with a spider monster with weird eyes. Okay.
Well, 1, not scary. 2, little scary. 3, blow your load. 4 and 5, 6. Oh shit, how many of these did I make?
That happens to me after I blow my load anyway. So I gotta get going.
Oh boy. Well,
it was Owen's long SAR search and rescue, for those not in the know, mission up to that point, taking a lot of manpower and a heavy toll on him.
I bet.
While glad they had found the boy, the family was a wreck, blaming themselves for not keeping their eyes on the children, the oldest kid especially. Owen said he had been nonstop crying and even asked to please let him help in the look for her. A little over a week later, they were calling it off after having found nothing.
I like when it says Owen said he'd been nonstop crying and asked if he to please help in looking for her. I like to think that means Owen is crying and not the brother. Or the older kid.
It also says none stop crying.
Yeah.
No one wanted to make the call, but Owen said he could hear the screams on the other side of the phone, even from the distance. The weird thing, though, Owen had told me, was that the description the younger boy had given of the man, he described his eyes as weird, and that they were large and had different color circles inside them. He looked...
Nope.
He took this man...
He took this man to be his wedded wife, his sea wife.
He took this to mean multiple pupils in each eye. Why would he?
I don't know.
Take it that way. I'm trying to picture what is being described, and I wouldn't describe it that way.
You remember that
this is...
Mummy remake?
Oh god. If this is just them trying to, like, allude to some type of weird sea creature, I don't know what they're trying to refer to.
Yeah.
Not only that, but he had seen holes on his neck, like the smoking people on TV. It was one of the most head-scratching cases he had ever worked on.
Smoking people on TV? Like, tracheotomies?
Yeah.
So gills, essentially.
But, like, gills aren't holes, they're slits.
Yeah, but I'm thinking a kid's version of it. I don't know.
Sure.
I mean, like what they would
hole
describe
slits, I'll put my dick in it.
Well, look, kids know what gills are. Watch fucking SpongeBob.
You know, have you ever seen those videos where a little octopus takes like a coconut shell or a clam shell and holes up in it?
Yeah.
I would be interested to see a completely ashcan story where just a little octopus in a human skull terrifies somebody for a moment. You know, like it just
that would be adorable.
Yeah, it just has gone up into a skull of somebody who died, you know, out at the ocean or whatever, and it just, you know, scrambles up somebody's leg while they're swimming, and they're like, "Oh fuck it! Oh,
what the fuck is that?"
Oh,
yeah.
Oh my god! Wow, what the fuck?
Oh.
Get down, it's Skelepus.
Skelepus. You'll never catch me. My name is Skelepus now. Okay, anyway.
They rebranded me, He-Man. Now I'm a Skelepus. You'll have to fight me underwater near my staircase.
Yes. Oh, we're fucking... Okay, this is taking a long time.
Okay, yeah, we've only got 4 more paragraphs. Number 4. From time to time, Owen had heard reports of compasses taking a full 180-degree turn.
Whoa. Sometimes
the crew wouldn't even notice. They'd be heading west at some point, and half an hour later, they'd find themselves twice as far from their destination because the sun was in one direction, and they just turned around and didn't notice the sun changed direction.
Abysmii, your sun is in one direction? Why didn't you tell us this before?
I'm sorry. He said it happened to him once, but they noticed the change fast enough to change directions before going too far. They blamed the electromagnetic field or some science thing. I don't know much about that to say for sure. The reason I never brought up my son in one direction is because I'm ashamed of him, and my son is dead to me.
Wow.
Yeah.
5. There was a time when they had a shark migration happening. Okay, now moving on to 6. No. There was a time when they had a shark migration happening. They made sure to tell everyone to avoid the area. One guy didn't listen, though, and purposefully went out there to see the migration happen live. The call went in not long after. A large patch of blood spotted on the shark's migration trail. Okay, this is not something that would be shared as a story. We'll see if there's a stinger. I don't know.
Fucking sharks.
When they went out to investigate, they were surprised to see a man in a small boat. Same curious bastard that had ignored the order was the one that made the call. The blood patch was huge, apparently, making up the remains of dozens of sharks. Okay. At first they thought the sharks had attacked each other for some reason, but then they stumbled upon one that had half its body bitten off, so another shark that was larger could have done it. Just down the freaking middle.
A double shark, if you will.
A what now?
A double shark, if you will.
Double shark. Boom, boom. Double shark. Boom, boom, doo, doo, doo. Just down the freaking middle, Owen had told me. We're talking about a shark around 6 to 8 feet long, about 2 meters. So maybe it was a whale, like an orca, that Owen described being bitten in half by something even larger. I hate to keep stressing it, but guys, what could ever be larger than a shark? Hell, if I know any animal capable of biting a shark in half and then leave the carcass behind, much less one that would feast on an entire school of sharks.
Do orcas eat sharks?
Do sharks eat purple guys?
Biologists in South Africa investigate the remains of great white sharks killed by orcas.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. Anyway, I mean, we could just say that this isn't a place where there are any of those, but we don't know, because there's no... He's, where was he stationed? Where, I don't know.
At the Coast Guard.
At the Coast Guard.
The Coast Guard station. The one.
Anyway, let's bring this baby home.
Guard. 6, the last story I'll share, is probably one of the weirdest. I better hope it is.
Oh, you better fucking deliver.
Can I just say, I just want to point out, as we're drawing to a close here, the one with the spider guy climbing up the boat, that needed a little bit more restraint.
Mm-hmm.
And the rest of them needed to be a little wilder. It's like weird.
Owen said he'd been introduced to this not long after joining. Said the other guys would chuckle whenever it was reported, but would ignore it and just go ahead about their day after day. Listen, guys, I am deprived of sleep, and I can't read.
I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at the idea of someone going, "Hey, help, there's a fucking oil fire in the ocean." Click. Oh, that again.
Oil in the ocean. What is he even talking about?
That's what emergency responders are known for, chuckling and hanging up.
Yeah, that's what EMS do. Not all heroes wear capes, and some people aren't heroes.
Not all heroes do their job.
Yeah. He didn't understand why at first, but everyone told him it was best not to ask questions and to never ask the superiors about them. It seemed that from time to time, while patrolling, teams would report finding these random sandbars in the open sea.
Oh, fuck. Wait a minute. Is this going to redeem itself now? Sandbars. Awesome.
I can't tell if this is a joke or what.
Whoa, dude, sandbars. Holy shit, man.
Oh my god. If they had opened with sandbars, like, okay, these should be, I'll hold it until we're done. Just get this fucking finished.
The sandbars would always have large, odd-looking patches of vegetation growing around them, sometimes of different shapes and colors. Owen would say that things would appear within a day, sometimes even within a few hours. The orders were simple enough. If you see one, report it. If it disappears, report that too. Never approach them.
Whoa.
Most importantly, don't mention them to anyone on the outside. That rule is out, though. Whoops.
Oh my god, guys. Is this real or not? Do I have to worry about these sandbars finding me at night?
What is a sandbar?
A sandbar is a patch of land.
Literally
and water.
what it sounds like.
Yeah. Like, okay, picture the tide going out, right? The tide going out exposes like a little bit of land, but it's out in the water.
So about
like a mini island, you know?
Gotcha. So about the size of Vagina Island?
Well, like
No.
a small island, like, you know.
So smaller than Vagina Island, like a very small Vagina Island.
Even just to think of a wide river, and then randomly there's just kind of stretch of sand that is jutting up, and if your ship hits it, it'll get stuck. Because you've now run aground, despite the fact you're in the middle of a river.
DP, picture a highway, okay? Picture a road. Picture the median in the middle of the road, okay? The road is the ocean, and the median is a sandbar. Now, are you not terrified?
Isn't the scariest shit?
The story should just be called Sandbars.
Yeah.
They're sandbars.
No!
They'd be very specific when they told Owen not to pay them much attention. And he did just that.
Don't pay attention to it. Okay. It's nothing.
Don't pay
Okay,
attention.
fine.
Let's not go to where the actual plot development would be.
Don't ask, don't tell about sandbars.
I could tell that he was really curious about them, though, but he insisted he'd grown used to them, to the point he'd chuckle third time that's shown up, along with the other guys whenever they were reported. I just can't get over the chuckle thing because it was recently mentioned that chuckle is apparently a crush word that is used a lot in the Twilight novels.
Okay.
And
Really?
so it just kept coming up. Like someone made a video just like compiling all the times that chuckle is said in the Twilight novels.
Okay.
And it was really funny. And I just can't get over the fact that this is using chuckle twice in the same paragraph and earlier as well.
Does it make you chuckle?
It does.
Okay, so that was the terrifying case of the sandbars. Abysmii, you want to bring this home for us, or?
Owen told me a lot of stories through the years. I remember very few. So if anyone is interested, I'd be open to share more of them. If anyone has any theories or explanations for any of the things I've mentioned, please tell me how to write part 2. If you have your own story of something happening to you in the ocean, I'm going to sue your ass. Let me know as well. I'll be more than glad to read about them.
I like the, Okay, so Oscar494 wrote the story, okay? Some guy 276 has this comment here. I just love it. It says, share more of Owen's stories. Okay, good comment. Good comment. Fucking what?
Okay, so number 1, all of these stories should have been connected. Number 2, you should start with mysterious sandbars, because that's rather mundane, but it is weird for them to be out in the open sea. And then ramp up to people getting taken overboard, and then ramp up to sharks being devoured by gigantic fucking creatures, and then tie that all together with whatever your creature reveal or whatever is. As the story is right now, it is just uninteresting things being described, and there's nothing to go on.
It's attempting to pull off, these are some mundane, everyday stories, but hidden within are spooky things, but not really pulling that off.
What I don't understand is it's aping off of Search and Rescue.
Right.
Which is not a new thing to do. They've been doing it since Search and Rescue got popular. Search and Rescue, at least, had emotional passages about kids disappearing and other very surreal, weird stuff happening. This is very distant and almost disimpassioned. I don't know the word I'm looking for here, but it's just, yeah, we got calls about sandbars.
Dispassionate.
Found this.
Yeah.
dispassionate. We found this random Italian couple who were scared. And it started out with like, oh, Owen's changed. He's seen shit. Has he?
Well,
all of this is hearsay.
You gotta save it for the next installments, you know?
Oh, but like, this is your first one. This is supposed to be, ooh, I'm in for a wild ride. And no, we're not. We're in for a fucking swan boat trawl through the goddamn sandbar.
Do you want to
got stuck?
Do you want to play America's favorite game, Slimebeast Fixes part of the story?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's great.
What if in the sandbar section, since we're focusing on sandbars being terrifying as sort of a joke, what if it just was completely like it is, maybe phrased a bit better, but completely like it is with the sandbars just appearing and disappearing, but everybody treats it like a joke, everybody treats it as, something stupid and, blah, blah, blah. But the superior gets weirdly serious for a moment and says, by the way, don't step on them. Don't try walking out on one. Mm-hmm. The guy's like, well, why not? And the guy's like, just don't. Don't step on them.
Officer, that's a direct order. Okay.
Yeah, and then you get a thing like, okay, well, it's just a sandbar. It just appears and disappears. That's mundane. And then you're like, well, wait a minute. What happens if you step on it? What? Why? Wait, no, go back. Why? What happens? What?
And that was a big thing in Search and Rescue. It was like, I forget, like if it was like being covered up by the existing park rangers around the narrator, or if they like had their memories fucked with or something. That's kind of the hook. It's not just that weird shit happens; it's that there's forces keeping that weird shit under wraps.
We hope that you've enjoyed Stay Awake versus No Sleep. I think the winner is clear. All of you listening, you're all winners.
Yeah. Thank you for your endurance.
And always remember,
Dead
Pallet's famous catchphrase. Go ahead.
Don't touch that sandbar.
This has been the Fear Fiction Podcast. Your hosts are Abysmii, Dead Pallet, and Slimebeast. Music by Abysmii. Art by C.F. Comer. Voiceover by Atticus Jackson. Edited by Elias the Intern. Subscribe to Fearfic on YouTube to stay up to date on new episodes.
Oh boy, here we go writing clickbait story titles again.
My sugar daddy asked me to clean his house, which is weird because I was just expecting sex and not a list of chores. By E.A. Pat BP.
She sells happiness in glass jars. But does she seriously expect me to leave a tip? I mean, literally all she's doing is standing there behind the counter and taking the jars off the shelves. There's not even that many customers here. By Tyre Menorah.
My driver's license photo ages, but I don't. It's really great, but it's getting me in a lot of trouble with the police. By Tormentalist.
I did the staring at the sun with the binoculars ritual, now I'm blind. By Hopeless Night Owl.
I saw a scary missing episode of One Piece at an anime convention in a private room. But I'm not sure what was happening. There were no subtitles in English, and it seemed to be mostly filler. By Dead Pallet.
I googled a map of sex offenders in my area. My house was surrounded by dots, and when I refreshed the page, all of the dots were in my house. By Last C1.
I think my ex-boyfriend might be a serial killer. I'm afraid to run into him while we are both out looking for victims. By Midnight Kung Fu.
I provided funds, arms, and trainings to the Mujahideen in Afghanistan because they were fighting my geopolitical rivals, and now I wish I hadn't. Part 9 of 11 by Ramses IV.
For more clickbait no sleep titles like this, visit the No Stories subreddit.
Go ahead.
So, Shishomaru.
Oh, go! Oh, no.
Yeah!
Yeah!
Anytime a word or title comes up that I don't understand, I know that it's going to be horrible. It's going to be a horrible time for me.
DP, continue with this, and then I have a follow-up.
So, our Lord and Savior, Fluffy-sama, if you fucking remember the term Fluffy-sama, ooh.
What the fuck is even happening?
That's some web 1.0 shit. No, Shishomaru is, he's just really fucking hot. And it was just like, man, with Shishomaru, am I gay? And the answer is extremely, Brandon. You are extremely gay.
Totes gay.
Totes McGoats, Totes McGays.
Like, look at just like Shishomaru has like this icy stare. Oh, it's great. And he's coming back and he has children now. So he is totally a DILF now. Shishomaru's a DILF. Shishomaru's a DILF.
So Shishomaru has displayed that he can exercise responsibility and judgment, and it's not fucking fair.
What is any of this?
Doesn't matter. Shut up. Shut up.
Shishomaru.
And here's the thing. If you're feeling uncomfortable with yourself and you can't handle this shit, I just want to remind you of Tenchi Muyo. Ryoko. Just think about Ryoko. If you're feeling uncomfortable, just go back to Ryoko, because Ryoko was OP waifu for Tenchi Muyo.
If you just imagine Shishomaru railing Ryoko.
That is also acceptable.
I really like that scene where Spoodle and Fabulu are climbing Mount Spagingi and they pull out the sword of 1,000 plinkos.
Enough of
dude, he's getting disturbingly close to the plot.
He is, though.
Surprise! Fucking surprise! Wow. I couldn't believe when they killed off that character that I loved. And it was such a shock.
Dude, Inuyasha did that so many fucking times.
Oh, so much.
Wow. You know what I hate, though, about all of these, things you've been talking about? Those two characters that really should be together, the Raiders are never going to put them together.
No, they just did.
Oh. Well.
That's why we're excited.
Okay. But here's the thing. My favorite character in all of Inuyasha was Miroku. Sorry.
He
was the best.
Albany Washer? What?
No. He had wind tunnel. Motherfucking wind tunnel.
He had fucking he shoot Coca-Cola, he have monkey finger. This is just fucking the Beatles. Come together right now under Inuyasha or whatever the fuck.
No, my ship is Jikotsu and Bankotsu. That is the ultimate gay ship.
Jacuzzi and bunghole? What?
I never bothered with the gay ship, so I don't have any comment on it. But
no, but Moroku Sango is the best hetero ship for sure.
Oh hell yeah! Hell
what is happening? I hate
and they're super dead.
Here's the problem. You are so Slimebeast. You are so hung up on Manic Pixie Dream Girls that you cannot expand your horizons to other types of kinks.
Anime waifus.
Yes! No, seriously.
Okay.
There is an entire universe of anime waifus for you to choose from. And I'm not even including the fucking husbandos. Like, fucking, DP, what's the Gundam where they were just like fucking kick fighters?
Fucking kick fighters?
Yeah, it was the one where they were all like, it was after Gundam.
G Gundam?
Was it G Gundam? Where they had like fucking rainbow kick and shit? Like, it was just like, this nation had their own Gundam, and oh man. I'm not even talking about that. We're not even getting into that shit.